Today's Supreme Court ruling in the Janus versus AFSCME case is an historic victory for freedom of speech and freedom of affiliation for public sector employees. It is also an historic victory for taxpayers who for too long have borne the unfair, excessive cost inherent in the conflict of interest between government union leaders and politicians who they both negotiate with, but as well support through their advocacy and political work.
And Janus, the plaintiff of this, out of Illinois, tell us
Yes.
about this in
Well,
advance of that.
yes, well, I actually initiated this lawsuit as governor. When I became governor of Illinois in early 2015, one of my first actions was to issue an executive order ending the forced union dues collection for state employees who did not wish to be in a union. And I also sued AFSCME. It was my suit that ultimately Mark Janus joined and then took over as the lead plaintiff that became this case.
Talk to me about the trickle-down effect, especially for the people of Illinois.
Well, this is an historic victory for freedom of speech and also to defend taxpayers against conflicts of interest in government. This is a huge victory for the people of Illinois, but it's a huge victory for people all across America. There are 5 million taxpayer-funded employees who don't want to necessarily be in a union, who now no longer are forced to fund union activity that they disagree with.
Anything else you want to add?
Well, I think the important point is this ruling is about government unions. It is not anti-union, and it in no way impacts trade unions. Trade unions, they are competing in the marketplace with a private sector employer. Their activity, most of it is not political and therefore doesn't have constitutional free speech issues. Government unions, what the Supreme Court ruled, I think correctly, is that all their activity, advocating, negotiating, pushing policy, everything they do is political at its nature, and therefore forcing an employee to fund that if they disagree with it is a violation of free speech and political speech.